Welcome back, Deep Best Sports Network fans. We're excited. We're going into week 4. It's Thursday. Games start already. We got South Alabama playing App State. Very exciting. But before we get any further, we're going to talk about big game. So our week 4 big game preview. Very excited about that. And again, a lot of you guys' favorite section. Book it. So we're going to talk bets. We're going to talk how we did last week. We're going to talk about what's coming up, how you can make some money. Why the heck not? But it's going to be very exciting. So right off the bat, we're going to talk about a very exciting game, Illinois at Nebraska, Friday, September 12th at 7 p.m. through Fox. So you guys make sure you guys are tuning into Fox, 7 p.m. Hey, it's a Saturday. Who's got anything better to do on a Saturday night? Lock in, watch the game, and watch Dylan Raiola take over. Collin, talk to us. How's this game going to go?
I'm looking really forward to this game, but hey, tune in on Friday, not Saturday. You tune in on Saturday, you're going to be a day late. Make sure we got this on Friday night at 7. Yeah, both these teams come in starting out 3-0. Great start. You know, I didn't really expect Illinois to start out 3-0, but hey, here we are. I'm cheering for them. I kind of like what they got going on. It's going to be a long road ahead after this game with a really tough schedule the rest of the way, playing the top Big Ten teams. I just don't think after this week they really have much going for them. But hey, while we're here right now, we're going to ride the high. They're going to take it in here to Nebraska and try to give them one hell of a game. The line's currently sitting at Nebraska -7, -7.5, -8, depending on where you're looking. Man, this Nebraska defense has been super reliable, though. It's ranking 23rd in total defense, allowing about an average of 4.19 yards per play and 2 total opponent touchdowns. That's really, really impressive. Also, let's talk about Dylan Raiola here. Freshman coming into Nebraska. Flipped to Nebraska late. We didn't really know where he was going to end up. Man, he's got this Nebraska program looking great. Everything that Matt Rule's doing with this program's looking great. Matt Rule is notorious for getting things going in year 2 of the programs that he takes over. They really need receiver Isaiah Nayer to kind of take off in this one, have a really big performance, take some pressure off of Dylan Raiola. This run game is exceptionally well for this Nebraska team as well. My biggest concern for Illinois here is their defense is not great. They don't have – their defensive secondary can hold up pretty well, but the front 7 really can struggle at times. So I really do look for Nebraska to lean heavy on that run game. Bryant, I mean, what are you kind of thinking of this one? I think Tommy Hill in this Nebraska secondary can also shut down Luke Altmyer in this Illinois offense because Luke Altmyer does really go overlooked quite a bit. His stats have been pretty good. He's thrown for 647 yards and 6 touchdowns and hasn't turned the ball over yet. So both quarterbacks – look really, really reliable. I'm anxious to see what you had to say about this one, Bryant.
Yeah, I really agree. Illinois, is kind of rolling this season, probably better than we thought they would be. Like you said, they beat a ranked Kansas team just 2 weeks ago, and it really brought, a little fire under their ass. But the stadium in Lincoln is going to be rocking. Fans are packing it like it's Nebraska from the 90s when they were the best team in the college football. So it's going to be a hard place to play this week. Definitely the toughest game that Illinois has had thus far, in my opinion. Also, I just don't think Illinois has the weapons that Nebraska does, both on offense and defense. It seems that Nebraska has 3 or 4 receivers that can make plays, and I really only think Illinois has one and then a running back that's decent. But I think the line of scrimmage is a lot better for Nebraska too. So I think this will be a relatively close game, but I think Nebraska will pull away in the end just with the crowd backing them, and I feel like they're playing a little bit better right now.
Man, this is going to be an awesome environment. It's going to be an awesome, awesome environment. I cannot wait to watch this game on Friday night. It's going to be spectacular. But yeah, Bryant, you kind of talked about it a little bit. I do think Pat Bryant and Zach Franklin are pretty good, solid receivers for Luke Altmyer and this Illinois football team. So if he really hits his stride, these guys kind of get some separation, like I kind of alluded to. Tommy Hill, we talked about him here before on this network. He's a lockdown guy. Big believer in him in this Nebraska secondary. So I do think he's going to take one of those guys out of the equation. But if Luke Altmyer can find his stride early, they can stay in this game early, keep the fans kind of out of it a little bit for the most part. Illinois does have an absolute chance in this game. You got to stay tuned later. We do have a play for you guys in this one. Be on the lookout later in the Book It segment. We'll come at you with it.
I think the biggest thing with this game is the fact that it's at Nebraska. I mean, and Bryant hinted on it already. That environment's going to be insane. A lot of people at Nebraska, just like in a lot of other programs early in the season, are expecting big things. So a lot of people are going to show up. It's a big top 25 matchup. So the place is going to be rocking. I think Nebraska takes it. I don't think, Illinois I don't think it's a long shot for them to win, but I think it's very likely that Nebraska will take the W. Like you guys hinted on, they're just a lot more well-rounded of a team. But we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it plays out. Hey, maybe Dylan Raiola cements himself for the Heisman here after this game.
Truly, Nebraska, you're kind of looking at they can be undefeated going into. Don't they play at Columbus? I think they play Ohio State at Columbus, right? And they could be undefeated going into that game. And you will talk about a massive game at that point of the season with some Big Ten implications on it. The sky is the limit for this Nebraska team. It really all depends how much pressure and how much Dylan Raiola can shoulder. And he looks to be a pretty mature freshman quarterback, honestly. If he can get rid of the Patrick Mahomes pregame and the Patrick Mahomes haircut and all that stuff, I'd really be a fan of this kid.
Maybe that's what's helping him win.
Absolutely, gentlemen. But another game, again, another team that a lot of people are very excited about, very pumped. You guys have heard us talk about them plenty of times here, is Mizzou. So Vanderbilt comes to Mizzou on September 21st, 3:15 p.m. on the SEC Network. So very exciting game. Vanderbilt is coming off one loss. Mizzou 3-0, beat Boston College last week. We're still trying to figure out how good Boston College really is. I think for sure Mizzou should win this game, and mainly because, yes, Pavia is a threat, but I think Mizzou's defense can handle that, and they showed it playing against Boston College. But again, even their run game isn't amazing. They got one or two guys that can make an impact, but I think we have been good stopping the run. So I think this isn't a close one. I think there's a lot more hype around it than truthfully needs to be. I think Mizzou secures the bag here. No chance that Vanderbilt wins this. But Bryant, what do you think about Mizzou? I know you're an alumni, so what do you think? Unbiased opinion here. Let us hear it.
Honestly, I really do think this game for Mizzou is very, very similar to Boston College in that Diego Pavia is a very similar quarterback. If he doesn't see anything open, he's going to tuck it and run right away. I mean, he leads the team in rushing at 195 yards. He has a crazy amount of rushes. I think it's like 34 or something like that. So way more than their closest running back. Like I said, I think this is a very similar game to Boston College from a defensive standpoint for Mizzou. If they can contain him and keep him from running around and making plays with his feet, I think they'll be fine. Vandy really doesn't have that many great receivers. Their best receiver is their tight end. He has the most catches and most yards on the team. I think if Mizzou can contain Pavia, they'll definitely have a chance to win. On the offensive side of the ball, Mizzou is definitely way more talented. Vandy struggles to pressure the quarterback. Their secondary is not the best. So hopefully this is the game that Brady Cook can make the deep throws, because I think that's what will blow the top off of this Vandy defense.
If Missouri can find the explosive offense in this game, they're going to absolutely blow the doors off them. There's two things Missouri has to do in this game. Contain Pavia. Don't let him get outside. Keep him in the pocket. He's less dangerous in the pocket. Bryant, you talked about how this is very similar to the Boston College game. Without a doubt. This is without a doubt the same scheme on offense for the opposing team. Mizzou should run the same scheme on defense. I would like to see Mizzou generate some pressure on the quarterback this game. Rush 5 a lot, get in his face. Don't ever let him get comfortable. You did talk about the tight end for Vanderbilt, Eli Stowers. He's kind of a security blanket for Pavia. Let's take him away. I do think we can have somebody drop down on him. I don't think it'll be a problem getting rid of him out of the offensive game plan. But now, yes, Bryant, Brady Cook has to make the throws. Brady Cook has to find his tick in this game, make the deep throws, really get this explosive offense going. I do think Mizzou's run game can go right at Vanderbilt all game long with the two-headed monster out of the backfield and Nate Noel and Marcus Carroll. Those two are going to come at this D-line from Vandy all game, and I think Mizzou definitely has the upper hand. Mizzou's offensive line has looked really good. They're getting a good first push off the ball. I look for Mizzou to absolutely blow the doors off Vanderbilt in this one. Make a statement in the first game, SEC game of the season. I'm all in on Mizzou, obviously. I really think they get the job done here. Let's get the ball to Luther Burden early. Get the ball to Luther Burden early and often. And I would like to see Marquise Johnson involved in the game plan a little bit more this game, because I think there's nobody with the speed of him on Vanderbilt's defense. Get him the ball. Let him get out in space. That opens up Luther Burden. That opens everything up. I really hope Missouri answers a lot of questions that we kind of do have after the Boston College game, and lets us, settle the nerves a little bit and know that, hey, we're for real. Go out, cover this football game, protect home field, and do big things here.
Yeah, I agree. I think Mizzou really hasn't showed any really play action offense this season. It's been mainly run and or pass. It's never been run to set up the pass. I think we see that in this game. They started to open it up. And like you said, Colin, Marquise Johnson needs to start getting involved. He's a very speedy receiver we have on the outside, and he thrives in those play action plays. So hopefully we'll see that this week because they haven't really opened up that type of offense yet this season. And I agree. I think Mizzou takes this one handedly.
Boys, I think the big thing with this game, I mean, I think the importance of this game is this is where Brady Cook, again, hitting go back on what Collin said, Brady Cook has got to figure out these throws. We've got to figure out how we can, get Luther Burden wide open, let him run, let him show his talent, and really just solidify everything. Because if you guys, I don't know if you guys have looked at, what the next month, basically what the month of October has for Mizzou, it is rough. We follow up October 5th with Texas A&M, which I think they're a lot better than the 25 seed. Now, Connor Wegman's out. That changes things. But even then, we've got UMass right after, so should be an easier game. But then we have Auburn followed up by Alabama. And then right after that, we've got Oklahoma and then South Carolina. This is the game to figure it out because it's hard to figure out against quality top 10 opponents. So I think this in regards to preparation.
Yeah, no, absolutely. You're exactly right, Dave. This is the game where they have to have things figured out. They have to have everything kind of start clicking for them because they're really about to hit the tough part of their schedule. And you're right. They need to be in sync. They need to have the deep pass going. The explosive plays need to be going. Everything needs to be flowing going into this Texas A&M game. So, yeah, I absolutely agree with you. This is a massive, massive time to make a statement.
Yep. We'll see how it goes. Hopefully our hometown team catches the dub. But another game that's going to be very exciting. It's going to be USC at Michigan on Saturday, 2:30 p.m. through CBS. USC's coming in 2-0. Michigan got their first loss. So I think what it really comes down to, and again, I really think this is another one of those games that's not going to be close. Michigan doesn't really have a quarterback. I mean, they're stuck with Alex Orji for this game. I mean, USC's defense have been great, which that's an unusual thing for Lincoln Riley. So I'm glad he figured it out. Thrilled he figured it out because usually he's been a very all-offense team. And again, I think Miller Moss is going to have a field day simply because Michigan's defense is ranked 90th in the country nationally for pass defense, and Miller Moss can sling the rock. So it's just the perfect matchup. I think USC runs with this one, and I don't think it's close.
Well, USC's coming into Michigan, and Michigan's staring down the barrel of 2-2. USC coming off this bye. They had a week of preparation to get ready for this Michigan team. With his big news, Alex Orji is going to be the starter over Davis Warren in this football game. We've talked here on this network how we think this team is built better for Alex Orji to kind of come in, run the spread option a little bit, kind of keep the things on the ground. They don't have real receiver threats. I don't know if you guys have looked at their stats. They're not impressive. They have no real receiver. Colston Loveland is their best option. He's the tight end for this team. He is definitely their security blanket. And hell, fellas, he got banged up last week. It's looking like he might be able to play. It looks like he did avoid serious injury and probably bounce back pretty quick. But they have absolutely nothing working. They have an identity crisis from hell. They have absolutely nothing going on the offensive side of the ball. And USC's defense is clicking. Lincoln Riley's got it going. I'm still in shock. This is the biggest surprise for me, maybe all college football season next to Florida State being 0-3, is USC's defense is working. It's absolutely working. We've always said forever, if Lincoln Riley gets a defense, look out. His offensive side of the ball always works. His quarterbacks always work. They're always in the front running for the Heisman. He just needed a defense, and he's got it. Right now, he's got it. Linebacker Eric Gentry, he is all over the field for this USC defense. He's constantly putting his hat on somebody. He's there to knock the ball out. Guy's a stud. The USC offense averaging 7.18 yards per play. They have reliable pass catchers all over the field. Lake McRae, Zachariah Branch, Kyron Hudson. They've got guys everywhere. Miller Moss can get the ball to them. I'm really impressed with what he's brought us so far. I think Michigan's defense has underperformed so far. So we're talking about a team, in my opinion, who's exceeded expectations, and a team, in my opinion, who's underperforming expectations, and they're about to meet head on. I am probably going to lean USC in this one. Stay tuned later. We may have a play for you. Let's not forget, USC's got a hell of a running back duo. Woody Marks and Quentin Joyner, they're absolutely lethal at the running back position for them, taking pressure off Miller Moss. Fellas, I'm kind of becoming a believer in this Lincoln Riley USC team. And I'm starting to really, really fade Michigan. So, Bryant, I mean, do you agree? Do you think I'm full of shit? I mean, where are we at here? I can't get over how confused I am with Michigan's football team. We talk about it every week.
Hey, before we
Yep.
get to Bryant, I got a question for you, Collin. Where is Donovan Edwards from last year? You know,
Man,
I think coming into this year, everyone expecting great things from Donovan Edwards, and I haven't seen any even flashes of brilliance from him. I understand he's pretty much putting the team on his back, but when you are one of those top players, you've got to make it work. You just have
well,
to
I think Mullins is really pushing him for the carries. I mean, I think he's looked really good at the running back position as well. Let's also not forget Donovan Edwards. He really came alive in the playoffs last season. I'm not saying he wasn't alive throughout the regular season, but he really, really came to light late in the season. So yeah, now we're kind of seeing how it goes for a full season. Is Sharon Moore just trying to keep the miles off Donovan Edwards' legs early? In my opinion, it's not working, man. You're 2-1, staring at 2-2 right now. So absolutely, I'm with you, Dave. It's a great question. I wonder that often. I don't know. I think maybe they get him going this week. I mean, for them to have a chance in this game, they're gonna have to get him going in this week because they don't have much else.
Maybe he's just stuck on the cover of College Football 25.
Hey, is this like the Madden curse, man?
Yeah,
like
exactly.
They used to call it the Madden
exactly
curse. It's exactly what this is. Maybe you're all over it, Bryant.
Yeah, maybe he's stuck there. Madden curse, college football
Hey, the
curse.
$60 wasn't worth it. What is it that they got? $60 to be on the game or something like that, or 400? I don't know. It was something super low.
Yeah,
I paid 100 for the game itself. I'm only gonna get 400.
That's no shit, Bryant. Which direction you leaning here?
I definitely agree with you. I think USC is the better team here. I agree with everything you said. Their defense is playing outstanding. Miller Moss is cooking on the offense. And like you said, Michigan has definitely underperformed. The only thing I'm kind of leery of, maybe just probably too much in this game, is Michigan having the new quarterback, Alex Orji. Maybe this lights a fire under this team to get it going. I mean, we're the defending national champs. This game's in the big house. It's always packed there. It's always loud. And they love their big blue. So, Michigan might have a slight turnaround. I don't know if it happens in this game. I think USC takes this one. Like you said, they're just firing on all cylinders. But, I think Michigan, this new quarterback with Alex Orji, I think he'll be there long term. But, I think they might take off a little bit more than what maybe they started slow just because he wasn't in the game. I don't know. But maybe they start to take off with him at the helm. But we'll see. But I do agree with you, Collin and Dave. I think USC takes this one.
I don't think your offense is going to regress, right? I mean, there's not much to regress on. I mean, when it's not working already, I mean, why not try it at this point? We've been pushing for Alex Orji this whole time, so I'm not going to start shitting on him now. But I mean, I really do think this offense will be more efficient with him at the quarterback position. I really look for Michigan to take the air right out of the football in this game. They're gonna absolutely ground and pound, drag you through the mud as slow as possible. And you're right, Bryant. Playing at Michigan is one of the hardest places to play. I think there's 110, 105, 108,000 people going to be there absolutely going ape shit. So yeah, this is going to be a tough environment for Miller Moss probably.
So I'm just curious, as Lincoln Riley, how do you combat Alex Orji? He's a starter. So what he's got to offer, which is, from what we've seen recently, mostly legs. How does your game plan change knowing who's starting versus, let's say we weren't sure if Alex Orji was going to start. And he's already sounds like he might be a little banged up. He might just be playing through it. Does your game plan change at that point, or do you still stick with how you were going to go into this game?
I'll be honest, man. I just said it. We're pulling for Alex Orji because we've talked about him a lot on this network. If I'm USC, neither one of these guys scare me. I mean, I'm telling my defense, hey, don't let up anything ignorant. Limit explosive plays. Don't let somebody get out in the open and create space. Just do your job on defense. Contain them on the outside. They're not going to throw all over. Michigan is not going to beat you by throwing the football down the field. It's just not going to happen. And if it comes out and happens this week, we really need to have a conversation about Sharon Moore just completely missing on Alex Orji even more than we thought then, because that really could have helped them thus far, because they've not impressed me yet against anybody. We talked about them, a narrow margin of victory last week against Arkansas State. That's unacceptable when you're the reigning national champions and you had high expectations. So if I'm Lincoln Riley, I'm telling my defense, hey, just do your job. Do your job. Don't do anything special here. Contain your guy. That's all we have to do, and we'll win this football game.
Yeah, I agree. I think USC's game plan before we knew Orgy was the quarterback was probably to get pressure on the quarterback as much as possible. I think you can allow your secondary to be on an island almost the entire game because, like you said, they're not going to throw the ball around very well. And I really don't think this changes it. I think Orgy's a little better, but I don't think he's some secret weapon game changer, like some may think he is. But we'll see. But like back you said, Dave, I don't believe they're going to change their defensive game plan very much.
Gentlemen, I don't know if you guys have heard, but I'm excited about this next game we're going to talk about. I'm going to go ahead and call it the Senior Citizen Bowl. I mean, you may get a discount on a drink. You may get all kinds of stuff. I mean, hey, go ahead and have EMS ready because both teams have seventh-year starters. So I'm excited. 24-year-old versus 25-year-old. I mean, at this point, you should have a family, wife, kids, dog, everything. That matchup is Utah at Oklahoma State. It's going to be at 3 p.m. on Fox. I think it's going to be a good game. I really do. I think it's going to be a very competitive back and forth game. Obviously, if Cam Rising starts, that's a big impact. There's talks that he will start. There's talks that he won't. We'll see. We know he came off with a hand injury earlier, so he didn't play last week. But I think if Cam Rising starts, Alan Bowman, can show up and play, I think this is going to be probably one of the funnest game, if not one of the most exciting games of the weekend, because it's a pretty level playing field here, and I think it's just going to come down to who wants it more.
No, I totally agree. The Vegas line has been all over the place on this one. Oklahoma State was favored, and then Utah was favored, and then now it's back to Oklahoma State. So I think a lot of people are up in the air on the outcome of this game. Cam Rising is back in this game. He came back from his broken fingernail. So whatever it was, I don't think it was a broken fingernail, but it was a pretty lame excuse to not play. Anyway,
hey, at that age, that happens. That happens at
you're
that
right.
age.
AARP, you never know. May have to pull life insurance for this. I don't know. But anyway, one of the main, key points in this game, I think, is the Utah defense. I think they're the best unit in this game. They're top 6 in the nation. But so Oklahoma State's going to have to really get Ollie Gordon and this offense going to, have a chance in this game. Collin, what do you think?
Well, we just talked about in this Michigan game, where's Donovan Edwards? The real question that I have is where is Ollie Gordon? I think Ollie Gordon, for me, has been one of the most disappointing players across the board in the country so far. And I'm not trying to place blame on him, but man, the expectations were through the roof. And we just haven't seen him do much yet. I mean, luckily, Alan Bowman has kind of picked up the slack a little bit and really been able to make the throws to carry this team to mount a comeback a couple weeks ago. Who were they playing? Oklahoma State? Arkansas. Mounted a comeback against Arkansas solely on Bowman's shoulders by throwing the football. So, yeah, I think it's awesome that they can show they have another dimension and they're not just so run heavy. That's huge for them. But to your point, Bryant, Utah's defense is by far the best of the four main units coming into this football game. Oklahoma State's defense is by no means in the top 50. So I really look for Utah to kind of slow Oklahoma State down. It is an away game for it is an away game for Utah coming into Oklahoma State. So that does help Oklahoma State out quite a bit. I know we've had reports that Cam Rising is going to play. I never trust anything Kyle Whittingham tells me anymore about injuries because Cam Rising was supposed to play the first game of last season, and we never saw him for the whole entire season. So I'm not buying into anything just yet until I see him step foot out on the football field. Then I'll believe what I see. But this is an awesome, awesome matchup against head coaches. We got Mike Gundy, Kyle Whittingham, like I just talked about. And anytime you can put those two on the football field at the same time, it's going to be entertaining. That's for damn sure. It's going to be one of the most exciting games of the week. I think this has massive, massive implications for the Big 12. I think the winner of this game is probably right up there atop with Kansas State. We're high on K-State here and Oklahoma State here. Fellas, I cannot wait for this one. I will say this again. Ollie Gordon has to get going for Oklahoma State to have a real chance in this football game.
Yeah, I agree. Like you said, Colin, I think this game is probably, I think the teams are going to be pretty ready to go for it. I think this is for a leg up in the Big 12. This is a pretty important game in the season in September as far as the Big 12 Conference Championship, game is concerned. So I think both these teams will be ready to go knowing what's at stake.
Well, and Utah has a great rushing attack, and Bernard Mitchell. They can really take the pressure off the quarterback. They can really run straight ahead of this opposing defense, and I think they can against this Oklahoma State defense. I don't think this defense is world beaters by any stretch of the imagination. Oklahoma State's front seven really does concern me. So if Utah can pound the rock early, they can really deflate this game pretty quickly.
It's going to be an exciting game, but another game that's going to be wild, I think everyone should be tuning in, is Tennessee at Oklahoma on Saturday at 6:30 p.m. through ABC. Both teams are coming in undefeated. Tennessee, stud quarterback with Nico there. He's slinging the rock. I think they've only gave up like one touchdown all season. And then on the other side, you have Oklahoma with Jackson Arnold, which hasn't shown to be amazing, but I think they do have potential. I think they're a solid team, and I think this game determines whether they're a playoff team or not. Truthfully, I think if Oklahoma loses here, that their chances are probably done because everyone is at the eye test currently. Everyone's just kind of like, I mean, they're kind of good, but they have.
Well, dude, have you seen Oklahoma's schedule going forward? Good
yeah.
It is absolutely brutal.
They are getting a warm welcome in the SEC.
Yes,
my Lord.
Well, that's what I mean. I mean, I think if you win this game, your confidence through the roof. You approach those next games a lot better. I mean, if they put some damage onto Oklahoma, I think a lot of people are going to start putting them up there with the Texas.
This would be a hell of a resume builder for them.
Absolutely.
Hell of a momentum builder, hell of a resume builder for Oklahoma. I mean, I'm sure these fans are super nervous hosting one of the best SEC teams in the country for their first home SEC game. This is setting up to be a certified banger here. I mean, Tennessee is the number 2 offense and defense. Tennessee's got it all right now. Oklahoma's the number 27 defense coming into this game. So this is just going to – I don't know what way this is going to go. Danny Stutzman, the linebacker for Oklahoma, has got his hands full, man. He's got his hands full. Dylan Sampson is going to be running right up the middle, right at him all night long. Dylan Sampson's an absolute stud at the running back position for Tennessee. Doesn't get enough credit for what he does because of how great everybody else looks. He kind of gets overlooked a little bit. Nico's been great at the quarterback position. They've got 5-6 receivers we could talk about on this channel right now and go into depth about how all of them are spectacular, what they're there for. But Dave, you hit on something very important. Jackson Arnold has not looked up to par so far to me at all. I heard nothing but rave and high expectations about him coming into this season. And right now, I'm just not seeing it. In Oklahoma's run game, even worse. They have no reliable run game at all. If Jackson Arnold's your leading rusher on the team with 159 yards, that is not a recipe for success, fellas. And that is not going to get the job done against James Pierce and this Tennessee defense because they're going to be punching you in the throat all night long.
Yeah, I agree. I think this comes down to 2 things. And first being, like you just said, Jackson Arnold. If he can elevate his play, not just running the ball, but passing all over the field, I think they have a chance. And, the second thing I think this game depends on is not really X's and O's. I think it's conditioning. Tennessee runs a fast offense. They probably run double the amount of plays of any other team in college football. The classic Josh Heupel offense, get as many plays as you possibly can on offense during the game. That's why Tennessee scores so many points. So if they can continue doing that and Oklahoma gets worn down, even in the second quarter or third quarter, I think Tennessee could run away with this one. But if they're ready to roll and their conditioning and everything's in check, I think it can be closer than people think.
Well, the longer they keep the home fans in this game, they as in Oklahoma keep their home fans in this game, obviously the better chances they have. Because if Tennessee comes out and hangs 14 early right off the rip in the first quarter, the air is going to be sucked right out of this stadium. Also, yep. I'm glad you brought up Josh Heupel because correct me if I'm wrong, but I think Josh Heupel was relieved of his duties at Oklahoma before he wound up at the University of Missouri. So this is a big revenge game for him. This is a big revenge game for him, and he's got a statement to make. And, hey, he wants to show that this worked out better for me than what it could have if I was still here right now. So, yeah, man, Tennessee can really get off to the races in this one and have a hell of a resume builder for them as well.
Yeah, former Oklahoma player Josh Heupel, you know how he likes to treat former employees / places he was before he was at Tennessee. So, we definitely could see some animosity from his standpoint in this game.
Hey, we going to see an onside kick. We going to see another onside kick.
They might open with it.
I do it.
Wouldn't that be awesome? That would be incredible.
I would 1,000%. You do it not just to piss them off, just to get your team going. I mean, you imagine your coach does this on the first play of the game. You're fired up. You're ready to play for this guy. Like, he's in that room running his mouth about how much he wants to be go. And everybody loves.
He's told every dirty story about Oklahoma in the last 2 days that he could ever come up with. But hey, real quick, back to Oklahoma. Deion Burks is a stud at the receiver position for them, so they need to get the ball to him early and often to help their chances, and they've got to get the run going because the run game's awful. I know I just said it a second ago, but I'm going to say it again. The run game's awful.
Absolutely. But that finishes off all of our games we're going to cover on this episode. We hope you guys tune in. Again, there's going to be a lot of fun ones, but the big thing is enjoy football. We'll talk to you about it. We'll go from there, and then I know you guys have been waiting for this spot, the Book It segment. We're very excited. Collin's thrilled to talk to you about it. Bryant's thrilled to talk to you about it. So hopefully we'll make you a little money. You know, you'll enjoy our content. You'll also make a little money. Can't beat it. So before we get into it, Collin, talk to us.
Well, I just want to address something real quick. We hate losing. We absolutely hate losing. Last week we had a 4-5 week, our first losing week of the season. We're not happy about it. We're pretty pissed off. We feel like there was a couple of games that really could have went our way, and I feel like they really actually should have went our way. I mean, I feel like West Virginia kind of gave one away. Texas State kind of fell apart. I really feel like we probably could have ended the week at, 7-3 that would have been. I've never been great at math. That's why I'm here today. But I think we could have ended the week at 7-3. But, hey, if we talk about our wife's picks, we come in with 3 more winners right there, and look at us. We're 7-5. We're back on top again. So if you're following us for our picks, go ahead and follow the wife's picks too, because they're looking pretty solid thus far.
Hey, they may be on to something. Hey, Colorado may be coming alive. Who knows? We'll find out.
I knew you wouldn't make it one episode without talking about Colorado. I knew you couldn't make it one episode without talking about Colorado.
Oh, man. We'll see. We'll see. I don't have high hopes. You know, hopefully they stick around, at least in some conversations. But I'm starting to hear less and less every week. So, before we get going, let's talk about before Saturday. So I know there's a lot of great matchups on Saturday. But before Saturday, here's some matchups we like. So we've got South Alabama and App State, which is currently going on now. South Alabama's up 28-0 on App State. You know, we got the over 62.5 on this one. It's looking like it's going to happen. And then we also have Stanford.
You just pushed. Hey, you just mushed that. Never talk about the bets day before they're done, baby. You know better than this. This game's going to stall out. Now this game's going to end with 31 total points. You watch.
Hey, scared money don't make money. I'm going to throw that out there. All right. Next, we got Stanford at Syracuse. Team total over 32.5 Syracuse. And we have Illinois at Nebraska. We talked a lot about this game. This was going to be good. Nebraska's coming in at -7.5. So I think it's going to happen. We'll see. I'm not trying to jinx anything. I'm just letting you know what I think. And then on Saturday, that's when we got a pretty good slate coming up. We've got NC State.
Well, hang on real quick, Dave. I want to talk about this Syracuse game a little bit. We're taking their team total over 32.5. I think Kyle McCord has obviously played much, much, much better teams than Stanford. The Syracuse offense has looked really good. We've had them right around at the bottom of our rankings. We've honorable mentioned them. We've kind of flashed them in there a little bit. I think Syracuse can kind of go in here and take care of business, protect home turf, really, really get things clicking again, show everybody that they can do this against anybody. I know Stanford's not much of an opponent, but hey, anytime you can score for 32.5 points, that makes the offense look great, builds momentum for the next game. And yeah, Bryant, we both like Nebraska -7.5 here. We're going to go ahead and buy that hook and make it 7, so we're back and play on the push. But I really think Matt Rule and this Nebraska team make a statement this Friday night. I cannot wait for that football game.
Yeah, I agree. And back to the Stanford game, that West Coast, East Coast travel on a short week, is always never a recipe for instant success. So that's why we took this pick as another reason why.
But hey, now it's my favorite time. It's my favorite time, fellas. Are you guys ready to go ahead and book this shit? Are you guys ready? Let's go, baby.
All right, go ahead and book it, baby.
Hey, 4-5 is unacceptable. We're not losers. We're going to get back on this horse and ride it. Dave said it. Scared money don't make money. And we're coming right back at you this week. I think we have 9 picks on the docket here.
Yes, sir.
What do we say? Let's go 9-0. Let's go 9-0. Let's prove a point here. I just said that means we're going to lose the very first one. But hey, 9-0, that's the goal, baby. NC State at Clemson. Clemson sitting at -19. We're going to go ahead and take Clemson -19. Dabo, get your shit together. Get your shit together. Hammer them. Leave no doubts. Grayson McCall shouldn't be in this football game for NC State. Bryant, what are we going to do?
I think we're going to book that shit.
Let's go, baby. Arkansas State at Iowa State. This is the next game we're going to take something in here. I kind of had a few doubts from one of our other members on this show. Not going to tell you which one. But, hey, I pulled hard for Iowa State -21, baby. We're going to go ahead and book that shit. Ain't that right, Dave? What do you think?
Hey, go ahead and book it, baby. Make some money.
Hey, find Jalen Noel deep in the end zone for Iowa State here. If they can score points on Iowa, they damn sure can score points on Arkansas State. Show Michigan what they should have done last week and what they didn't do. Next thing we're going to talk about, UCLA at LSU. UCLA's defense can't stop a nosebleed. LSU's defense can't stop a nosebleed, so we got to play for you. LSU team total, over 35.5. It's going to look like Swiss cheese all over the field. Garrett Nussmeier, Kyron Lacey, really going to have this thing humming early and often. Bryant, tell us what we're going to do, baby.
This might hit in the first half, so let's book it.
The first half, over by the first half. You know we love that. Sweat free, baby. Sweat free is the play of the game. USC at Michigan. You know we got to have a play in this game. You know we got to have something that we're watching for. USC's defense looks good. Michigan's defense is the only thing they got. They damn sure don't have an offense to move the ball. So what we're going to do, Michigan USC under 45 in this game. Comfortably. Dave, what are you going to do, son?
Hey, I'm a book it. That's a lock right there. If you want to play safe, that's the game to do it on. If you want to play it safe, either do that or play the stock market. One of the two.
Definitely don't play the stock market. Good Lord, that's all over the place, more than the Oklahoma State line. Next game we're going to talk about, Vanderbilt at Mizzou. Surely you guys don't think we're going to do anything with Vanderbilt here. Surely you guys know better than that. Missouri, team total, over 35.5. They're going to make a statement. They're going to run up and down the field in this Vanderbilt team. I believe in Brady Cook this game. He's going to make these throws. Luther Burden, light it up. Get your name in the Heisman conversation here. Bryant, what are we going to do for our boys?
Book it.
Let's go. Next thing we're going to talk about, Iowa at Minnesota. This one, it may put you to sleep. But, hey, all you have to do in this game is take Iowa -2.5. This is going to be a snooze fest. By the hook, get it down to 2. If you're anything like me, anytime you watch an Iowa-Minnesota game, like I just said, you're asleep by 3 minutes in the first quarter. But Iowa -2.5, we're going to go ahead and lock that up and book it. We're excited about that football game. The next game that we're going to talk about as well, Tennessee at Oklahoma. We had to have a play in this one. We're going to be tuned in from start to finish. We're not going to miss a minute. Bryant, why don't you go ahead and tell the fans here what we're going to take in this football game?
You know, like we discussed in our last game preview, we really like Tennessee in this one. I think we're going to come in and roll. This line started pretty low. It's at Tennessee -7, and we're going to take it right there and book it.
Tennessee -7. Book that shit. I think Tennessee can get this one done by double digits. I think they can run it up. We talked about this. Josh Heupel wants to make a statement, wants to let it all hang out. We might see 2 onside kicks from him in this football game. Tennessee -7. Book it. Michigan State at Boston College, the next game we have up. Boston College -6. They did a lot of things to impress us in their football game against Missouri. I think Boston College can beat a lot of football teams. I think Thomas Castellanos is going to be a problem for most defenses. Boston College -6. Dave, tell me what we're going to do.
Book it, baby.
We're going to book it. We're going to book that shit. Our last play of the week. Kansas State at BYU. BYU 3-0? I think BYU might be a fraud at 3-0. I don't believe in them at 3-0.
Who have they
You
played?
know what we're going to do? I don't know. You tell me. I have no idea who they've played.
I think it's
that's how
Louisiana State, whatever Bobby Boucher played for. I think that's the teams they played. So I know
the Mud Dogs. They played the Mud Dogs.
Mud Dogs.
Mud
South
Dogs
Central
kicked the shit out of
Louisiana
BYU.
State University Mud Dogs.
The
Yeah,
Mud Dogs kicked the shit out of BYU. I'm just telling you that right now.
Yeah, K-State's only -6 in this game. You know, that's what we're looking at here. And what are we going to do with this?
We're going to book that shit, baby. K-State -6. We think that's free. That's one of our favorite plays of the week. You know how things go. BYU may have heard us talking shit. They may come out and light it up and score 50 now, but I doubt it. Kansas State -6. I loved everything they showed me last week against Arizona. I'm all in on the Avery Johnson experience. I absolutely think he's an incredible playmaker, electric with everything that he does. Hey, K-State -6, probably my favorite play of the week. Let's go, boys. We're going to book that shit top to bottom. Let's go make some money. We're back on that horse. We're going to ride it. Never play scared.
Hey, speaking of booking, speaking of betting, making money, it's one of those few times where I'm gonna say, hey, the old ladies are right, and I won't say that a lot. So we were 3 for 3 last week. So what, Collin? What does Paige got going for it? What is she thinking? Where's her mind at?
So we hopped on here 5 minutes before we came to you guys live, and we had a pick. Bryant asked me what my lady's pick was. I said Georgia Tech +11. He sat back in his seat, put his head in his hands, and I thought he hated the pick. He sits up, and I ask him, well, Bryant, what's your woman taking? He says, Georgia Tech +11. You know what that means? We're going to book that shit too. Georgia Tech +11. If they both like it, we love it. We
double
love
down
it.
and book it. We going 2-0.
We're all in, baby. Dave, what Ashley pick? She back on the Colorado train? What's she going to do when they have a bye?
Man, I think they actually won, but she turned it around, and now she's thinking more Miami. Couldn't give me a reason, but she's got Miami -17. That's what she's got. That's what we've secured. So hey, if she keeps doing this, I may have to start listening to her a little better.
Hey, sometimes the less of a reason is a better reason. I mean, hey, I'm all in on that. I like Miami -17. Who they got? USF?
Yep,
Yes.
they got USF.
Miami -17. We may have to follow that.
You know why I think she picked it? I think she listened to our Heisman show from earlier in the week and
Hey,
talking
could
to Cam
be.
Ward.
Heard Cam Ward, it was a lot.
Hey, her and her friends at work definitely talking about Cam Ward often now, about how much of a stud that guy is in this Miami team. And I think I even heard your wife tell one of her friends last week, as long as Mario Cristobal stays out of the way, Miami -17 is going to be no problem.
Hey, I think you're right. I didn't hear it, but you might have. I don't know. But man, exciting bets, a lot of good information. Make sure to tune in. I mean, shoot, tune in now. App State's getting smashed right now. But again, thanks for always supporting us, all of you guys, especially those of you that started with us from our very first episode. Again, Brian, thanks for joining us. You add another dynamic to our group. You give us some valuable information, and it's always good to get multiple opinions. So, like we've always said, give us positive feedback, negative feedback. Any feedback is good feedback. Like, comment, share, tell your friends, tell your family. If they can't watch TV, they can listen to it on Spotify. If they can't listen, let them watch it on YouTube. There's a way. What's the saying? When there's a will, there's a way, right?
And if they can't watch it on YouTube, make them watch it on Spotify. And if they can't watch it on Spotify, make it watch them on YouTube. You get what I'm saying? No excuses. It's all bullshit if they're giving you excuses. Make them watch it. Open their eyes. Put some clothespins in it. We're here, baby. We're here to stay. We're here to make a point. Bryant, tell me what you got real quick.
Like we did last week, I'm going to do a quick little one more game to watch this week. Kind of spoke about it a little bit with our bets here in the Book It segment, but I really do think it's Georgia Tech and Louisville. Louisville is the 20th ranked team in the nation according to the AP poll, but this is their first real test. And believe it or not, this is Georgia Tech's 5th game of the season. They've beaten Florida State. Now that doesn't seem like a good of a win as it might have at the first week, but pay attention to that game. Like we said, be like Georgia Tech +11, but I really do think this is a chance for Louisville to show who they are, but I also think Georgia Tech could definitely come out and beat them in Louisville.
Absolutely.
But anyway,
absolutely.
That's my little segment to end our preview every week. Like I said, like Dave said, I want to thank everybody for watching. One thing I want to add, please ask questions if you have anything you think of, whether it's Book It bet related, whether it's game related, whether it's anything related. Feel free to ask questions and post them on Facebook/YouTube or wherever you see our show, and we'll definitely do our best to answer them.
Yeah, Kevin this week, talking about questions. Kevin this week, he's a very consistent listener and supporter for us. We love everything that he does out there asking questions. He left a comment again this week, kind of talking about Colorado's over-under win total being 5.5. and why it's so low when they've already got, what do they got, two wins now?
Yep.
So, they do go into Baylor, and he's talking about how they're favored against Baylor. They probably will get that game. But we kind of talked about earlier in our show, not this show, but earlier in one of our episodes, when we talked about taking Colorado under 5.5. That's going to be a sweat because they're going to come out in the first half of their schedule. They may win 3-4 games. But hey, if you look ahead at that schedule, they're only going to be favored in one more game the rest of the season. I don't think they're a favorite in any other game the rest of the way. I just wanted to acknowledge that question real quick. Kevin, we appreciate you reaching out. Like Bryant said, reach out to us. Ask us questions. Tell us any hot take that you have. Anything that you want to talk about, let us know. We love doing this for you guys. This has been an absolute ton of fun. Bryant, we talked about it again. You're becoming a journeyman here now, so we can stop talking about it as much, but we love having you. Dave, you're doing a hell of a job. As long as you don't talk about Colorado every episode, even though I just brought him up again, you're just killing it, man. But hey, lots of fun here. Everybody stay tuned. Keep following along with us. You can find us on X at DT_sports_. Find us on Facebook at Deep Threat Sports Network, Spotify at Deep Threat Sports, and at YouTube at Deep Threat Sports. We love doing this for you all. Like, comment, subscribe, share, tell your friends. Keep supporting us. Hey, follow the bets 1 through 9. Even take the wife's picks. We're going to make some money this week. We'll holler at you guys next week. Hey, until then, peace.